Hey guys, I'm Dan from ShastaBubba Adventures, and this is the third in a series of videos about the principles of ultralight backpacking. My goal here is not to be telling people how they should be backpacking or that their way is wrong, but simply to offer some suggestions about how to lighten the load with the ultimate goal of increasing your enjoyment of wilderness adventures. I'll also be adding some thoughts about how those ideas translate to life in general, but don't worry if you're just here for the beginner's guide to ultralight backpacking. The philosophical parts will come later. So the rule for today is mind the ounces and the pounds will take care of themselves. Last time I talked about the big three and the huge weight savings that can be had by changing those over to ultralight versions. Today's rule is kind of the opposite. It's the idea that you can shave a significant amount of weight from the pack by paying attention to the little things. When deciding what gear to bring on a trip, it's easy to just grab whatever you have, throw it in the pack without really paying much attention to weight. If something seems fairly light, just go with it. Take, for example, the Nalgene. This weighs just 6 ounces. Sounds like nothing, right? But an alternative disposable container like this Snapple bottle weighs 1 3/4 ounces. Now I could just shrug and say 4 ounces, big deal, and take the Nalgene, but that kind of thinking will keep my pack above 40 pounds every time. Instead, I'm going to take the Snapple bottle and save a few ounces. Not to mention money, incidentally, this Nalgene is listed on Amazon today for $15. The Snapple bottle, basically free. So this is what I call the miracle of ultralight backpacking. You will be amazed at the difference it makes when adopting this mindset that every ounce matters. It really adds up to a significant weight reduction over time as you shift things to lighter versions, but you probably won't believe me until you try this for yourself and see this miracle in action. And I don't blame you, because I didn't believe it would make much difference either until I tried it. Now, there are two important corollaries to this rule, and the first is weigh everything. So weighing everything, that's obvious, right? You can't shave ounces if you don't know what things weigh, and oftentimes you'll be surprised by this because it might seem like two items are so similar you would expect them to weigh the same, but they can actually vary quite a lot. For example, take these two raincoats. This one is from Mountain Hardware, and it's a high-tech 3-layer membrane. Does a great job, very durable, but it weighs 10.5 ounces. This one is the Visp from Enlightened Equipment, also very high-tech, just as waterproof, a little less durable, but much more breathable. The Visp weighs just 5.5 ounces, so two equally high-tech, waterproof, breathable coats, both work great, but the Visp is almost half the weight. And surprisingly, it's quite a bit cheaper too, so a little extra bonus there. By the way, while you're weighing things, you're going to want to keep track of it all, so a great free resource is lighterpack.com, which will not just keep track of all the weights, but add it all up and provide a useful visual of weight by function, such as the sleep system versus clothing. So you might want to check that out. Now, the second corollary is to take the lightest functional version. Both those words are critical. So let's go back to the water bottles. You might say, sure, the Nalgene weighs more, but it's practically indestructible, so I'm going with that. Well, the disposable water bottles are actually surprisingly hardy. I've never had one fail in the 10 years or so that I've been using them, so in this case, lighter is still functional. On the other hand, I could choose to take a Quilch rated to 40 degrees and save a lot of weight, but that wouldn't serve its purpose of keeping me warm at night here in the Northern Rockies where I do most of my hiking. So lighter isn't going to be better if it doesn't work for you. Here's another example. A very popular item among ultralighters is the Mini Bic lighter, which weighs an amazing just 0.4 of an ounce. Seems like a no-brainer. But personally, my hands are too big and clumsy to make a Mini Bic work well, and it becomes a two-handed effort just to light the thing. In this case, I'm very happy to pay the ½ an ounce penalty to use a full-size Bic lighter in order to increase its functionality. So pay attention to function as well as weight. Now, there are lots of more examples of lighter functional versions of things, and I'd love to hear from you what your favorites are. So if you wouldn't mind, Take a moment to share in the comments what's your favorite piece of gear that you switched out to go to a lighter, functional version. So, mind the ounces and the pounds will take care of themselves. How does this saying apply to life generally? Well, actually, it would be hard to come up with an area of life where this didn't apply. Money is the obvious first thing to mention. In fact, this saying actually originated as mind the pence and the pounds will take care of themselves, meaning English money. It can feel very hopeless sometimes to want to save money, but when thinking about what can we actually afford to set aside, it seems like such a small amount, it's not even worth bothering with. But saving even a small amount over time can become a significant nest egg. It's all about the consistency. Same thing with spending money. Sometimes, I don't want to wait for a sale, or I'll pay a little extra for some convenience, and those small compromises add up. I know one area where I'm particularly terrible is with returning things that didn't work for me. I'll box it all up and set it aside for later when I have the time and energy to do the return, but never seem to come back to it. $10 here, $15 there, it makes a difference. The ancient Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu said, "The 1,000-mile journey begins with a single step." And I like to add, and every step after that, meaning that no matter how big the goal is we want to accomplish, it will happen if we take a series of small steps. It doesn't matter the size of the step, only that we are moving in the right direction. This applies to climbing a mountain as well as accomplishing any goal in life, whether it's getting an education to do my dream job, building a home, or exercising to get into shape. Small steps matter because they add up to accomplishing big things. In fact, I don't think there's ever been a big thing accomplished by humanity that wasn't done through many small steps. And that can be a way to overcome procrastination too. If you're feeling daunted by the size of your goal, break it down into doable steps and just start moving. I might not be sure I can climb that mountain, but I am sure I can take this first small step. So focus just on that one step and then focus on the next one. And pretty quick, the giant mountain has been climbed. Okay guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks so much for subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Take care.